guarantee or guarantor, how you call it? Guarantee, to take guarantee for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be the guarantor, right?
Guarantee or guarantor? Oh.
Okay, we're gonna use that. Oh my God, you're breaking my chair, man.
You got
Yeah. You break
middle
my chair.
toe.
The foot finger.
Yeah, my foot finger. Oh my gosh. Well, at least I know it's there.
Inshallah, we're gonna use the English part. In case we need any explanation, I'll use mine. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Today we're going to talk about باب في أحكام الضمان, the rules of guarantor or guarantee. Right?
Yeah.
What it says, guarantor?
Guarantee.
Guarantee, okay. That's good.
Guarantee is one of the legal ways to record debts. In Islamic terminology, it is the guarantor's commitment to pay back the debt of another person while this person is still considered the original debtor. In this case, the guarantor must fulfill the obligations of the debtor. For example, the guarantor may say to the creditor, I guarantee the debt of so-and-so. Guarantee is permissible according to the Noble Quran, the Sunnah, prophetic tradition, and the consensus. Allah exalted be He says, and for he who produces it is the reward of a camel's load and a reasonable, and I am responsible for it. And for he who produces it is the reward of a camel's load, and I am responsible for it. So to Yusuf 72, the word responsible implies that this person is the guarantor, the person who's going to pay the loan.
Okay, you know what occasion this happened?
No.
So this is the story about Yusuf alayhi salam. Remember when he became the ruler of Egypt at the time?
Okay, yeah.
So he had to keep his brother, Benjamin.
Benjamin.
We call him Benjamin.
That's when they found the cup
So-
inside his bag.
So he made a trick to keep his brother, because there are rules at the time. If somebody stole, that's the only way he gotta keep his brother, to keep him as a slave, because otherwise the brothers cannot allow it, because they take an oath in front of their father, which is Jacob, that they're gonna come back with Benjamin.
Yeah, not like his brother Yusuf.
Okay, so they have that oath in front of their father. So, but if he is caught stealing, the rules at the time, the rules of the Jews at the time, you have to be a slave 2 years.
Wow. We have to be a slave.
So that's the only way he gonna keep his brother.
Oh, okay.
So now when he put his, I don't know how you call it, sack, the cup, he put it in the baggage of Benjamin. So they come after them, they say, hey, you guys, you are thief. We're missing the king's cup, the measurement cup. So he says now here, he says, وَلِمَنْ جَاءَ بِهِ هِمْلُ بَيْنٍ, whoever can be so kind and bring it back, to return it back, because this is very important to us. You have to bring it back. It is a gold.
Yes.
It is a gold cup. It was made by gold. So ana bihi za'id. I take the guarantee that I will pay you one full camel load of wheat.
Grain.
Wheat. At that time, you know, they have drought.
Yeah, famine.
For 7 years. So this is where the ana bihi za'id.
Okay.
This means it is permissible for you to be a guarantor for somebody, because of this ayah.
Okay.
That's the evidence.
Imam at-Tirmidhi relates as a marfu', traceable to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says the guarantor is responsible for paying the thing he guaranteed.
Look at these two words. Az-Za'im Kharif. Az-Za'im Kharif. The one who take guarantee is just like he is the one who have the debt.
Okay.
He owes the person.
Yeah.
The guarantor.
Because he took the responsibility.
Yes, he's responsible. I done it. Subhanallah. That's a hadith from Tirmidhi.
Scholars unanimously agree that the guarantee is generally permissible, that interests and needs of the people necessitate the permissibility of a guarantee, as it is a means of cooperation in righteousness and piety, so as to relieve Muslims from difficulties. In order to maintain the validity of the guarantee, the guarantor must be legally permitted to dispose of his assets, since guarantee is a form of financial obligation. So a child or a weak-minded interdicted?
Yeah, they cannot be permitted to be a guarantor.
Okay, of his legal...
a child or a weak person.
Okay.
So they are not... You have to be mature.
Yes.
You know what you're doing because
And
you are taking... because you are taking a heavy load, just like you are the one who's taking the debt and give it to someone.
Okay, so a child or weak-minded interdicted of his legal capacity is not permitted to be a guarantor. Moreover, the guarantor must accept willingly bear
There's no going to be forced.
Okay,
liability.
And if he is forced to do so, then the guarantee becomes void. Since liability is a voluntary declaration to fulfill an obligation, a guarantor's consent is obligatory, as is the case of financial donation. Furthermore, guarantee is a kind of benevolence to benefit and help the guaranteed person, so it is impermissible to take compensation out of it. That is, compensation resulting from guarantee is as prohibited as a benefit resulting from a loan. A guarantor must pay the debt on behalf of the guaranteed person when time is due for the creditor to act for it. When the guarantor pays the debt, he is permitted to afterwards to take back the same amount of money from the guaranteed person without any interest, since guarantee is legally intended to show leniency and help the needy, not to exploit and place burdens upon them. Guarantee is valid when the guarantor gives his consent by whatever words indicates this, such as I am responsible for this debt, I guarantee this debt is in my liability, and the like. Since the lawgiver does not necessitate a specific phrase to be used, it depends on the common convention of the society. The creditor has the right to ask the guarantor or the guaranteed person to get his money back, as it is a debt on the liability of both of them. The Prophet ﷺ says, the guarantor is responsible for paying the thing he guaranteed. Related by Abu Dawood and At-Tirmidhi, who grades it as Hasan, good hadith. This is the opinion of the majority of scholars. However, some scholars are of the opinion that the creditor has no right to ask the guarantor to pay him, except when it is difficult to ask the guaranteed person for the debt. This is because the guarantor is legally considered subsidiary to the original debtor, and he is not to be asked for anything except when it is impossible to get the debt from the debtor.
Got that?
Yes.
So this is a dispute.
Yeah. Guarantee, like mortgaging, is a way of guarantee the right of the creditor. The collateral is not to be taken by the mortgagee except when the mortgagor cannot pay back the debt at its due time. It is not acceptable to ask the guarantor for the debt as long as the guaranteed person can be found and is able to pay. According to common convention, the creditor asks the guarantor for the debt only when the guaranteed is not found or when he is unable to pay it back. This is the meaning of implied by Ibn al-Qayyum, who concluded, this is the preponderant view as you see. The liability of the guarantor is not absolved until the liability of the guaranteed person is discharged, whether by paying back his debt to the creditor or by being excused by him. Moreover, it is permissible for the debtor to have a number of guarantors, whether every guarantor claims liability on the whole debt or only on part of it. However, the responsibility of each of the guarantors is not absolved until the responsibilities of all of them are discharged, or when the responsibility of the guaranteed person is absolved. It is not necessary for the guarantor to know the guaranteed person to make his guarantee valid. The guarantor can simply say to the creditor, I guarantee the person who is indebted to you. Likewise, it is not necessary for the guarantor to know the creditor, as the consent or knowledge of either the creditor or the guaranteed person is not necessary to make the guarantee valid. In addition, it is permissible to guarantee an unknown amount or an unknown amount if it is to be known afterwards. As the law exalted he says, and for he who produces it, the reward of a camel's load, and I am responsible for it. So to Yusuf 72. This is because a camel's load is unknown at first, but then becomes known. This verse implies the permissibility of guaranteeing a known amount or an unknown amount if it is to be known afterwards. It is
get that.
Yeah, so
what's an example? Sorry, what's an example of like an unknown? I know it says it's permissible for the unknown, but what's an example of that? Like,
So like he says here in the ayah, وَلِمَنْ جَاءَ بِهِ حِمْلُ بَعِيرٍ. Himlu ba'ir is what a camel can take, but it is not known how many pounds the camel can take, or how weight. How
we can carry.
Yeah, it's not. It's unknown.
It's not a standard, so it can be
It's unknown.
It
But
can be
when
known
they
or
put
unknown.
when they put it on the camel, now they will know how much is it.
Cool.
Yeah, you get that?
yeah.
Okay. It is permissible for the guarantor to bear the seller's responsibility if the commodity turns out to be possessed by someone else. Also, it is permissible for a Muslim person to guarantee the obligations of someone else, such as paying back his debt and the like.
So if I become the
Guarantor.
guarantor for somebody, right? And they can't make their payment. Like let's say they can't make their payment, right?
Yeah, you're gonna come after you.
Yeah.
They're gonna come up.
What if I make the payment? I pay like $5 or whatever the debt is, right?
Yeah.
Would the guarantee have an obligation to pay me back, or is that like?
Yes. Unless if you give it to him.
Unless you say,
Yeah.
What did it say? They said, what's the word for it? It's,
Like you waive it off.
If you waive it,
Yeah.
except if you waive it. You say, I paid it for
absolve
you.
it, absolve it.
Yeah.
But he have to pay you back
Yeah.
whenever he get the chance.
So you're paying the debt for him to relieve him of this burden, but he has to pay you back.
Yeah.
So it's still a debt that he has to pay, unless you.
That have to be paid, yeah.
Unless you say, I'm free you from the debt.
Yeah.
This is another similar one.
Huh? Sure. Ready? Suretyship,
What's that?
kafala,
What is that?
suretyship.
Suretyship,
Surety.
like some, I don't know.
Okay, let's go. We
Yeah.
understand.
Suretyship, kafala is one's commitment to present the indebted person to the creditor. So, suretyship concerns the guaranteed person himself, and it is valid for anyone in debt. No suretyship is permissible for prescribed punishments because suretyship depends on certainty, while prescribed punishments are not to be executed when combined with suspicious proofs. In addition, suretyship does not apply in case of legal retribution, as it is to be executed only on the offenders. It is impermissible to execute legal retribution on a surety when the one guaranteed cannot be found. The surety must give his consent in order to make suretyship valid, as he is not obliged to bear the responsibility of suretyship. The obligation of the surety is legally absolved if the guaranteed person dies. Likewise, the surety is legally absolved when the guaranteed person submits himself before the creditor at the due time and place, since he then fulfills the obligation of the surety. However, if the surety cannot present the guaranteed person at the due time, or if the guaranteed person has been absent for a long period during which he could have been presented, then the surety must guarantee the debt. This is according to the general meaning of the prophetic hadith, in which he ﷺ says, the guarantor, here the surety, is responsible for paying the thing he guaranteed. It is permissible to guarantee the acquaintance of a person. For example, a person comes to borrow money from another, and the latter says, I do not know you, so I will not lend you. Then a third person says, I guarantee my acquaintance of him to you, meaning, I know who he is and where he lives. In such a case, the surety who guarantees the acquaintance of the guaranteed person is not only required to mention the name and address of the guaranteed, but he must also present him to the creditor. If the guaranteed person is alive and the surety cannot present him to the creditor, the surety must guarantee the debt, i.e. pay it back, as he is the one who is guaranteed the acquaintance of the debtor, the guaranteed person, and persuaded the creditor to lend him. Such an acquaintance is like saying, I guarantee to present the debtor to you whenever you want.
I didn't understand it.
I didn't understand that.
Surety, yeah.
Let me Google the definition of the word surety.
This is to take guarantee that in case if somebody owe you something, I will bring it to you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is not to pay the money, but is to bring the person who is owing you. He will bring it for you. He is in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you need him, I will get him for you.
Okay.
فالعبد في الكفالة واقع على بدن مفتوح وتصح الكفالة ببدن كل إنسان عليه حق مالي كالدين.
Okay.
You see, this is happening right now. Like these people who are coming. Somebody have, if they catch you on the border here, somebody have to go sign that he is in my custody.
Yeah.
In case if you need him, I will bring it to you.
Okay. Yeah.
This is our kafala.
That
ولا تصح الكفالة ببدن من عليه حد. So it is not permissible to take guarantee for somebody who have, punishment. Somebody who committed sin,
Yeah.
so he have to be punished for that.
Yeah.
Like somebody who need to be killed,
Mm-hmm.
so you cannot take guarantee for that person.
Okay.
So you're gonna bring it. لأن الكفالة استساق والحدود مبناها على الدرء بالشبهات ولا يدخل فيها الاستيثاق. So if somebody commit a crime, you cannot be a guarantor for him that if he did not come, what they're gonna do to you? You want to say they're gonna kill you on his place?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not going to be, because they cannot kill except the one who did the crime. Somebody cannot be substituted because of that. ولا تصح الكفالة ببدن من عليه قصاص. So it is not permissible to take a guarantee for somebody who have a crime which he have to be punished for. لأنه لا يمكن استيفاؤه من خير الجاني, because you cannot make the rules on the person who did not commit the crime. It is not permissible. So it is not going to be permissible for you to take a guarantee for somebody. So if he did not come, I will bring him. I will make sure I'll bring him. Or if I did not bring him, so I will be paying the penalty on his substitute. It's not permissible. It's not permitted because that one, it has to be on the person who did the crime. Now we are starting going into the rules. This is the most dangerous one. Yes.
How are the?
Huh?
The next one?
No, let's finish with this because I was not paying attention when you was reading it.
You want me to reread?
And I never learned this.
Okay.
لأنه لا يمكن استيفاؤه من خير الجاني. So you cannot put how do you call this in English? If somebody did a crime, you cannot punish other person on his behalf.
Okay, so you can't transfer the punishment.
You cannot transfer the punishment to another person. You cannot substitute him. He have to bear the consequences himself, the one who did the crime. So you cannot take guarantee for somebody like that. فلا يجوز استيفاء من الكفيل إذا تعذر عليه دار المقبول. If he is not capable to bring him back, because even if he cannot, if he take guarantee and he is incapable to bring him, so he gonna suffer the punishment. You cannot punish the innocent one because that's why it is not permitted for somebody who have committed a crime and he have to suffer punishment. You cannot take guarantee for that person because in case if you cannot bring him back,
then you're gonna be punished in place.
no, you cannot be punished.
You can be, but that's why you're gonna.
It's supposed to be you're supposed to be punished.
Yeah.
That's why the law it did not permit you to take that responsibility for it. So the government have to keep that person. So here now the rules is you pay bonds.
Yeah.
You pay bonds in case if you they cannot find you, you lose your bond.
Yes. You're gonna go to court.
So but you cannot bring somebody say, hey, this is my guarantor. If you don't see me, kill him. It is not permitted. Now I'm paying attention. لا تعذر عليه دار المكروه. ويشترط لصحة الكفالة أن تكون برضا الكفيل. And it is also have to be a condition in order for guarantor to be valid. The one who take the guarantee have to be willing to do it. لأنه لا يلزمه الحق ابتداء إلا برضاه. Because it is not on him if he doesn't accept it. It has to be accepted by himself, the one who is taking guarantee. ويبرأ الكفيل بموت المكفول المتعذر إهداره. So also in case if somebody take a guarantee for somebody who have punishment and he pass away, the one who have that punishment pass away, they cannot say, okay, now since that guy he passed away, you have to bear the consequences. So as soon as that person die, it's going to go away from him. The guarantee, they have to the rulers have to take the guarantee away from him because the original person already died.
I remember hearing a story. I don't know if it's from Hadith. It was I think during the time of Umar ibn Khattab, there was like a boy. I think he killed the father of two brothers, and then they took him to court in front of Umar ibn Khattab, and they said like they wanted like justice for him, and the boy did it on like accidentally, and then they told him to. I don't remember the full. I'll search it out, but I think the situation was one guy guaranteed to like if the boy didn't return back from what he needed to do.
I will be there.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know. I don't know about that. It is not permissible as long as the person is a criminal.
Okay.
If he does a crime and he is waiting for the punishment, you cannot take guarantee for that person. Because in case if you cannot bring him, you cannot be
You can't
punished.
kill the person.
So it is not permissible in Islam. ويبرأ كذلك بتسليم المكفول نفسه لرب الحق في محل التسليم وجله. And also if you take a guarantee for somebody and he present himself, he come to the police station, he give himself to the authority, so the guarantor cannot be punished because of his sin, because he's right there. So the law have to use him to make the penalty of the punishment. وإذا تأذر إهدار المكفول مع حياته أو خاب ومدى زمن يمكن إهداره فيه فإن الكفيل يضمن ما عليه من الدين لعموم قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. But if somebody take a loan and you be a guarantee for him and he did not come, the one who take the guarantee, he did not come, you the guarantor, the one who take the guarantee for that person who the loan is on, you have to pay the money. You have to pay that money as long it is a debt. because of this hadith with two words. Az-za'imu kharimun. Somebody who take guarantee, the debt is on him. Whoever take the guarantee, the debt gonna be on him. If the guarantee cannot pay for it, you have to pay for it. ومن مسائل الكفالة أنه يجوز ضمان معرفة الشخص كما لو جاء إنسان ليستدين من إنسان فقال أنا لا أعرفك فلا أعطيك فقال شخص آخر أنا أضمن لك معرفته أي أعرفك من هو وأين هو فإنه يلزم بإهداره إذا قال ولا يكفي أن يذكر اسمه ومكانه فإن أجز عن إهداره مع حياته ضمن ما عليه لأنه هو الذي دفع الدائن أن يؤتيه ماله بتكلفله لمعرفته فكأنه قال ضمنت لك حضوره متى أردت فصار ذلك كما لو قال تكفلت لك ببدنه. You see, this thing, you have to put your attention of what you are reading. So also it's among the rulings of al-kafala أنه يجوز ضمان معرفة الشخص. For example, this brother come to me, he want me to lend him something, to lend him some money. And I say, listen brother, I don't know you. And you say, hey, I know this guy. I know where he lives. I know his name. I know where he came from. Whenever you need him, I know where I can get him. All right? كما لو جاء إنسان ليستدين من إنسان فقال أنا لا أعرفك فلا أعطيك. I don't know you, I can give you anything because I don't know you. فقال شخص آخر أنا أضمن لك معرفته. I take guarantee for you, I will let you know who he is. أي أعرفك من هو, meaning I will let you know who he is وأين هو and where he is. فإنه يلزم بإهداره إذا خاب. So if that person who take that debt is missing, the one who take the guarantee must bring him. ولا يكفي أن يذكر اسمه ومكانه. It is not enough for you to tell, I know his name, I know where he lives, to give his name and his address. No, you have to bring him himself. فإن أجز عن إهداره مع حياته ضمن ما عليه. If that guy is alive and the guarantor did not able to bring him in, he have to pay what he owes because لأنه هو الذي دفع الدائن أن يؤتيه ماله بتكلف لمعرفته. Because he is the one who give the person who give him the money guarantee that he knows him. He take the guarantee that he know where he is. He will get him whenever he wants him. فكأنه قال ضمنت لك حضوره متى أردت. It's just like if he say that I am guaranteed for you to bring him whenever you need him. All right. فصار ذلك كما لو قال تكفلت لك ببدني. It's just like he's saying, I'm guaranteed that I will bring his body to you. So you have so many commentary in the English side, but this is what they said here. This is the end of this chapter 2.
the thing I was talking about is not authentic.
Marriage.
Yeah, it's not authentic.
Okay, mashallah. Because I never heard about that.
Yeah. It was contradicting to this, so I was like, it can't be.
Okay, did we understand this part?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
We want to go over it again. You can do the English part. Go with the English part because he wasn't here. We did two chapters behind.
That quick?
Yeah, sure.
Right?
13 or 14, we started.
Shoot, 13 or 14.
The 14, the last one we did. The first one is easy, but this one is a little bit
Yeah,
tricky.
That one is tricky.
Suretyship, kafala. Suretyship kafala is one's commitment to present the indebted person to the creditor. So, suretyship
So
concerns
indebted person,
to the creditor.
The one who has
indebted, how you spell that?
INDEBTED.
Indebted,
Indebted.
indebted.
Yeah.
Like the one who like borrows.
Borrow money.
The one who was in the debt.
Okay.
So, suretyship concerns the guaranteed person himself, and it is valid for anyone in debt. No suretyship is permissible for prescribed punishments, because suretyship depends on certainty, while prescribed punishments are not to be executed when combined with suspicious proofs.
Okay, you need to stop there. Now you can understand this. You have to differentiate between two things here. The first one is somebody who take loan. You take guarantee for that person who take loan. But the next one is for somebody who have done a crime and he was waiting for his punishment. Somebody cannot take guarantee for that person. It's two different things. Did we get that?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay, continue. فلا تصح الكفارة ببدل من عليه حد. الحد is a punishment for a crime. Like somebody who kills somebody, you cannot take guarantee that this person is in my house. I will bring him whenever the time to kill him is ready. You cannot do that because if that person is missing, you cannot find him and he cannot bring him. You cannot put that person who take the guarantee for him to death because no one will substitute. But if it is somebody who take loan from somebody, so the guarantor have to pay that money to the owner of the money. It's two different things.
In addition, suretyship does not apply in a case of legal retribution, as it is to be executed only on the offenders. It is impermissible to execute legal retribution on the surety when the one guaranteed cannot be found.
Okay, if you cannot, you see, this is what I explained. You understood that now.
Yeah.
Okay, you see, the first time you read it, you was not paying attention.
It wasn't making sense.
Huh?
It didn't make sense first.
Okay, let's go.
The surety must give his consent in order to make suretyship valid, as he is not obliged to bear the responsibility of suretyship. The obligation of the
You
surety.
understood that one too. Okay.
The obligation of the surety is legally absolved if the guaranteed person dies. Likewise, the surety is legally absolved when the guaranteed person submits himself before the creditor at the due time and place, since he then fulfills the obligation of the surety. However, if the surety cannot present the guaranteed person at the due time, or if the guaranteed person has been absent for a long period during which he could have been presented, then the surety must guarantee the debt.
Hello? Yeah. Waalaikum salam. When I don't know the class. Ogara ka Julie peka, Julie ka sa get this young. No? Okay, good. Let's go ahead.
This is according to the general meaning of the
Sorry.
prophetic hadith, in which he sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, the guarantor, here the surety, is responsible for paying the thing he guaranteed. It is permissible to guarantee the acquaintance of a person. For example, a person comes to borrow money from another, and the latter says, I do not know you, so I will not lend to you. Then a third person says, I guarantee my acquaintance of him to you, meaning I know who he is and I know where he lives. In such a case, the surety who guarantees the acquaintance of the guaranteed person is not only required to mention the name and address of the guaranteed, but he must also present to him the creditor. If the guaranteed person is alive and the surety cannot present him to the creditor, the surety must guarantee the debt, i.e. pay it back, as he is the one who has guaranteed the acquaintance of the debtor, the guaranteed person, and persuaded the creditor to lend him. Such an acquaintance is like saying, I guarantee to present the debtor to you whenever you want. That makes a lot more sense.
You understood it now.
A lot more sense, yeah. Because it's talking about two different things, the
Yes, two
crime
different things.
and the debt, like the money debt.
The other one is punishment, the other one is death. So the one with the punishment, no one will take guarantee for that person. Because if he is missing, you cannot penalize the one who take the guarantee, because a penalty have to be on the one who committed the sin. Unlike the one who take loan, that one is money. If you take a guarantee for somebody who has a loan, and you say, I know his name, I know where he lives, whenever I will get him whenever you want him. So if he cannot pay it or he is missing, you have to pay for him. You have to pay him. Well, if it is come for a punishment of a crime, so you cannot take guarantee for that person. So the law have to take their own responsibility. They have to keep him, or like how they do in the court of law here, they take bonds from the person who have to come back. It depends on the one who is the judge. Okay.
However,
Al-Hawala.
Hawala, the transference of debts. The faqih defined Hawala as the transference of a debt from the liability of the debtor to the liability of another person. The transference of debts is permissible and approved by the Sunnah and the consensus. The Prophet ﷺ says, if the debt of one of you is transferred from your debtor to a rich debtor, you should agree. The same hadith is narrated with a slight difference in wording, as whoever is transferred from his debtor to a rich debtor should agree. Many scholars maintain that there is a consensus on the permissibility of the transference of debts. The transference of debt is a kind of leniency legally intended to facilitate the transactions of people and help them meet their needs, pay back their debts, and be comfortable. Some people think that the permissibility of the transference of debts does not accord with analogical deduction. They allege that it is a kind of selling a debt for another debt, which is forbidden. However, the great scholar Ibn al-Qayyim argues against this opinion and affirms that the permissibility of the transference of debts is not an exception, as it is a kind of paying back debts, not a selling. He says, even if the transference of debts is a kind of selling a debt for another, the lawgiver does not prohibit it, since the principles of Sharia necessitate the permissibility to transfer a debt from the liability of the original debt or the original debtor to the liability of a new one, i.e. the substitute debtor. There are some legal conditions on the transference of debts to make it valid. They are as follows. First, the debt must be under the responsibility of the substitute debtor, since the transference of debts obliges the substitute debtor to pay the debt back. If the debt is not yet determined to be under the responsibility of the original debtor, its transference is not valid, as it can be cancelled. For example, it is not legal to transfer the price of a purchased article as long as it is still subject to approval. Also, a son cannot transfer his debt to the credit of his father unless his father gives his consent. Second, the substitute debt must be identical to the transferred debt with regard to the kind. Examples are dirhams for dirhams. Likewise, the substitute debt and the transferred debt must be equal with regard to the description. Examples are Saudi currency for Saudi currency. Also, the two debts must have the same time. Also, the two debts must have the same time for due payment, whether they are to be paid in cash or on credit. That is, the transference of debts is not valid if one debt is paid in cash and the other is on credit, or if the due time of one debt is after a month while the time of the other is after 2 months. Besides, the amounts of the two debts must be the same. It is impermissible to transfer a debt of 100 riyals, for example, for another debt of only 90 riyals. This is because the transference of debts, like lending loans, is intended to be a kind of leniency, not a means to gain profit. Hence, if there is any difference in the value between the two debts, this will violate the legal objective of the transference of debts, which is leniency, and set instead the objective of gaining interest, which is impermissible in the transference of debts and in lending loans. However, it is permissible for the original debtor to transfer only part of his debt to the credit of the substitute debtor, or to transfer his debt to the credit of someone owing him more than the original debt, and the remaining debt in each case is still due for its creditor. Third, the consent of the original debtor is necessary here, as he is not obliged to pay back his debt through transference. However, the consent of the creditor is not necessary. Also, the consent of the creditor is not necessary in order to transfer the debt to the credit of a rich person who is not procrastinating. Rather, such a creditor must be forced to accept the transference of the debt, and then he has the right to claim his loan from the substitute debtor. The Prophet ﷺ says, procrastination or delay in paying debts by a wealthy person is injustice. So, if the debt of one of you is transferred from your debtor to a rich debtor, you should agree. This is related by Al-Bukhari and Muslim. In another narration of this hadith, the wording is, whoever is transferred from his debtor to a rich debtor should agree. This means that the creditor should agree on the transference of his debt. If the substitute debtor is not able to fulfill the debt or may procrastinate, then the creditor is not obliged to agree to the transference of the debt to that person, as this may damage his interests. In this respect, the indebted persons who are able to pay back should hasten to be absolved by paying back their debts to the original creditors or the substitute creditors for whom the debt becomes entitled through transference. The indebted persons should not ruin their reputations through procrastination. Often we hear the creditors' complaints when they suffer from the legal delay and the negligence of the debtors in paying back their debts. Also, we frequently hear the creditors complaining owing to the procrastination of the rich substitute debtors in paying back their due and transfer debts, since they cause a lot of difficulties to the creditors. This has made the transference of debts a repulsive matter which many people dislike because of the injustice of the substitute debtors. When the transference of debts meets its aforementioned legal conditions, the debt transfers from the liability of the original debtor to the liability of a substitute debtor, and the original debtor becomes absolved. This is because the transference of debts means the transference from one liability to another. Thus, the creditor is not permitted to claim his right from the original debtor. Rather, he has to refer to the substitute debtor in order to get his right or reach an agreement with him. Therefore, the legal transference of debts is a permissible way to pay back the debts, as it makes things easier for people when they make use of it in a good manner without deception or procrastination. Quick question. So,
This is deep.
yeah,
Yes.
you see how it says in the second condition, I guess where it says there are some legal conditions on which the transference of debts to make it valid, and it lists like 3 conditions.
So the second condition you're talking about?
Yeah.
So the money which transferred, they have to be the same money. They don't have to differ.
So not actual money, but the debt.
This is transfer in debt. This is the transfer alone.
So if the person A
Right.
owes me $50, the person B
So
owes
if my son have a loan of $50, he can transfer his loan to me, so I have to be the one who's gonna pay the debt, the loan.
Okay, that makes
I
sense.
use the word loan because that's for me to hard for. So it has to be if my son owe $100, I have to repay $100.
That makes sense, yeah.
Okay, not he owe $100, so I can pay $90. It's not permissible. He owe $100, I have to pay $110. They must be this, as long the currency is the same, they have to be the same amount.
So, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So let's say he owes the debt and he transfers the debt to you.
Uh-huh.
And you owe me the debt, right? So now you owe me the debt. I can't say to you, okay, he owed me 50 dirham, but I want you to pay me 50 American dollars.
No.
So now it has to be dirham to dirham.
Dirham to dirham or the value.
Okay.
That also will come. But Amathuluhuma fil wasf. This is wasf, is the description. كأن يهيل بدراهم مضروبة على دراهم مضروبة. Okay. Here the other one is ونقود السعودية مثل على نقود السعودية مثلها. Like the paper money which we have, or the coins which we have, they have to be the same. They have to be the same. وتماثلها في الوقت أي في الحلول والتأجيل. If you are paying in cash, or you have to wait, you have to delay the payment. You have bigger pen, but you want to get the bigger one?
No, this is good.
Okay.
I just need, just to make it, when I go to the paragraph, my eyes just go.
فلو كان أحد الدينين حالا والآخر مؤجلا, if the two debts, one is you pay in cash right there, or the other one is later, أو أحدهما يحل بعد شهر والآخر يحل بعد شهرين لم تصح الحوالة. So this here, it is not permissible for transfer the loan as long the other loan is paid right there by cash, and the other one is going to be delayed, or this one is going to be transferred now, and the other one going to be transferred 2 months later. lam tasihul hawalata. This one is not going to be permitted to make that transfer. But amasulu dainaini fil miqdar, and the amount of the two loans, the amount that if they are the same, فلا تصح الحوالة ب100 مثلا على 90 ريالا. You cannot transfer 9, like how people are doing this. People are doing this. So if you transfer the loan from you owe $100, you owe $100. So my son transferred the $100 to me, but I have to pay $80. That one also is not permissible. لأنها عقد إرفاق كالقرض, because this is just to help the person. The one who is have the loan is to help the person. كالقرض is just like to take loan. فلو جاز التفاضل فيها لخرجت عن موضوعها. So if they are not the same currency, like $100 and $90. They are the same dollars, but you cannot transfer $100 and they pay $90. It is not permissible. هذا لا يجوز كما لا يجوز في القرض. The same way it is not permissible when you take in the loan. لكن لو أهال ببعض ما عليه من الدين أو أهال على بعض ما عليه من الدين جاز لك ويبقى الزائد بحاله لصاحبه. But if the transfer is part of, it's not all the amount, it's part of the amount, though they are not different, they are not the same, the amount the one you transfer, and the one with the one you transfer to is going to pay. If they are not the same amount, so then you are making partial transfer. Like he owe me $100, but he is transfer $70 to me, so I will pay that $70, and the $30 is gonna be on him, gonna still be on him, not on me. So that one is permissible. الشرط الثالث رضا المحيل لأن الحق عليه, and it has to be consent with the one who the loan is transferred to. You have to agree. If he did not agree, the transfer cannot be valid. فلا يلزمه أن يسدده عن طريق الحوالة. ولا يشترط رضا المحال عليه كما لا يشترط أيضا رضا المحتال إذا أهيل على ملء خير مماثل، بل يجبر على قبول الحوالة، وله مطالبة المحال عليه بحقه لقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم مطل الخلي ظلم، وإذا أتبع أحدكم على مليء فليتبع، متفق عليه. وفي لفظ من أهيل بحقه على مليء فليحتل، أي ليقبل الحوالة. والمليء هو القادر على الوفاء الذي لا يعرف بمماطلة، فإن كان المحال عليه خير مليء لم يلزم المحال قبول الحوالة عليه لما في ذلك من الضرر عليه. Now, the brain becomes full. So I believe this we're gonna do this tomorrow. Tomorrow, what class we have tomorrow?
Tomorrow, silver.
Oh, tomorrow is zero. So we're gonna do this back. We're gonna start the hawala next week, inshallah. We're gonna go back to the hawala next. You know, we were sitting here for a long time now. I'm getting sleepy. Okay, we're gonna start. What chapter is that? Chapter 16?
Yeah, 16.
Hawala?
Al-Hawala.
Oh, yeah.
It's 15.
15 or 16?
15.
Okay, can you mark that? No, this 15.
15.
We're gonna start there next week, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. اللهم علمنا ما جهلنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا. اللهم علمنا ما جهلنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا يا رب إنك أنت السميع العليم. وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. We did how many? We did 3 chapters?
3.
It's too much. We should do no more than 2.
Because they're short. They're like one page.